Good morning, students and parents. This is Mr. Barris, science instructor at St. Andrew's Episcopal Academy, and I'm here this morning to record a video that's going to introduce you to the different websites and technology that we'll be using this year at the school. What you see on the screen right now is an agenda for this video that I want to go over. So we're going to spend the next 30 or 35 minutes going over each of these items. I'm going to post this video on a YouTube channel so that you can always come back and reference this if you ever have any questions. Now keep in mind, these topics we're going to be covering are very general topics. Once we get down to the Moodle item, which is our learning management system, a lot of that will be run through the teachers at the school. And so once again, very general instructions for this morning. If you have more specific questions about specific course layouts, please save those for your instructors. All right, so the first thing that I want to go over is recommendations for a computing device to bring to school. Now, at the open house, I had a lot of questions about what acceptable devices were, and I want to show you our recommendations from the school for which device you need, in case you haven't gotten one already. So I'm going to get onto the internet, and I'm going to type in Chromebook. Now, the Chromebook is a device that a lot of schools are using nowadays because a Chromebook is very economical. So if you look at some of the prices of Chromebooks these days, you'll see that first result pops up is a $174 machine. That's very economical when put in comparison to a traditional laptop, which would cost maybe $400 or $500. And the main difference between a Chromebook and a laptop is that a Chromebook mainly operates on cloud-based storage, which means you don't save anything to your computer, you save it to an online cloud. And as part of your enrollment here at St. Andrews, every student is granted access to their own cloud through Microsoft. And I'm going to go through that in a second. So you'll see there's a lot of different options for Chromebooks you can get. They're made by different manufacturers. If you want to go for something even less expensive than what you see, you can always do some shopping around and find it that way. See right here, the cheapest one that I can find. I have some refurbished options for about $107. I have a brand new one for about $130. So it's very economical. Don't feel like you need to go buy a really fancy laptop for your time at St. Andrews. If you have any questions about that, feel free to stop by my classroom and ask me. So that is the device recommendation for this school. Let's keep going. Okay, headphones. So headphones are a requirement here at St. Andrews, especially for those students taking online courses. The reason you need headphones, if you are scheduled for any study hall during your day, you obviously want to be able to do your class material without disturbing those around you, and we would expect the same from those around you, that they will not disturb you by playing loud videos. So every student is required to bring headphones. Now, if you didn't bring any headphones today, the first day of school, don't worry about it. You're just going to need those for next week. So any headphones will do, just as long as they work properly and you can hear everything okay. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so now at this point in the video, I want to transition over to the tools you will be using as students here at St. Andrews. So like I was mentioning before, because you are enrolled here at St. Andrews, every student is given a Microsoft Office 365 account. Now, if you don't know what that is, let's go ahead and show you. Now, what I like to do when I'm first setting up for the year, I like to type in Office 365 into Google, because that's going to bring up this Microsoft sign-in page. Okay, so if you click that, it's going to take you to a login. And what I like to do, if you can bookmark this page, that's the best thing to do. Okay, And you can usually bookmark by going over to your internet's main menu and clicking the little star or the favorites button. And that way this login page will always be saved to your browser. But once again, if you ever lose that bookmark, or if you never end up bookmarking it, you can always just Google Office 365 and you will find this login page. Okay. Now, if you sign in by clicking the sign in button on your screen, it'll probably say sign in, since I'm already remembered on this computer. So I'm going to click sign in. You're going to type in your email, which is the first letter of your first name and then your last name. So in my case, my name is Mr. Zane Barris. So you can see my username is zbarris. And then the extension for those email addresses is at staacademy.org. Okay? Once again, that's staacademy.org. It's not ST Academy, STA, because we're St. Andrew's Academy. The password you will receive from our IT person will be the password you enter in to this email address. You can feel free to click keep signed in if you so desire, or if you're worried about security issues, you can always choose to enter that password. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in to my email. And when you sign in, you're going to see a lot of different tiles that come with your Office Online account. Okay? And this is really cool, because no matter which computing device you bring to school, it doesn't matter if it's a MacBook or if it's a completely empty laptop or if it's a Chromebook. You don't need to worry about going out and buying a word processing software like Microsoft Office, which can cost a lot of money, because your subscription to Office Online comes with those apps already installed. Okay? So once again, do not buy any word processing software unless you really want to, because you get all this stuff free online anyway. So you can see here we've got a mail tab. That's where you're going to be checking your email. You can put things into your own personal calendar. You've got a contacts button right here. Newsfeed, I'm not going to worry about that. OneDrive is the cloud I was mentioning before. So your OneDrive is basically your database or your storage site for all of your files that you want to save or maybe submit as assignments into your teachers. So OneDrive is basically to be used in place of like a really expensive fancy hard drive. You can save specific sites, you can make yourself to-do lists with the tasks function, but let's get down to the most important stuff, and that's the software you're going to be using to complete your assignments. So you can see you've got access to a copy of Word online. So if you want to type up a paper or do an assignment through Word, that's where Word is. Okay. Now I'm just going to click on it just to show you what it looks like. Let that load a bit. Okay. So here we see a copy of Word. So it's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to start a new document, you just click New Document, and that's going to bring you to a web interface that looks exactly like what you would see in any desktop word processing system. Now I've got a lot going on my computer right now, so it's taking a little bit to load. But once I close all these windows, it's going to go a lot faster. Okay. So we'll let that do its thinking for a second. Maybe I'll open up a document. And the cool thing is, even if you do have a word processing system at home, like on another computer, and you want to pull stuff from your cloud to your other computers, you can do that if you don't really like the whole cloud setup. So feel free to do that as you wish. Here is an Excel online app basically for spreadsheets, if you're doing calculations or collecting data, especially for science classes, or if you're learning about spreadsheets in your technology class. Here's a nice little tool for that that's called Excel Online. And then we have PowerPoint. So if your teachers ever assign you to make a slideshow, or if your teachers ever put up slides for the class to follow on the screen, you can open them using this PowerPoint Online tool. And then we have perhaps my favorite app. It's called OneNote. Now, OneNote is basically a note-taking tool. And the fancy thing about OneNote is that you can, if you have a stylus with your computer, you can actually write on your screen. You can be typing. You can basically, you have the option in Canvas to submit, or in Moodle, excuse me, to submit assignments from your notebook that you've input into this app. And I'll show you a little bit more about that if you're curious. Just come and ask me. Okay. The main thing to remember is that you already have access to all of these really normally expensive programs as part of your subscription. And all of those are accessed through Office 365. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be doing next. Okay, so we went through how to access your email. Let's go ahead and proceed to RunWeb. Now, for those of you who are newer to the school, RunWeb is the basic website that you're going to visit to check your grades, to order lunch from the school, to check your attendance records, things like that. So just general housekeeping things that probably your parents are more interested in. So I'm going to click on Logins. And what you're going to want to click on is Parents Web Login. That's going to take you to the gradebook site. Okay. When you're entering in your username and password, it's going to ask you for a district code. Our district code here at St. Andrews is SAA-FL. Okay, that stands for St. Andrews Academy-Florida. Okay, and then you're going to type in your username, which is going to be your email address. So once again, STA Academy, or zbarris in my case, at staacademy.org. And then you're going to type in the same password that we give you for your email. And if these passwords are not the same, by the way, we can configure them so you have one password for everything. So at that point, you would log in, and it's going to take you to the Parents Web page. Now, obviously, I'm not a parent, I'm a teacher, but my page is going to look very similar to your page. So when I log in, it's going to bring up this nice blue and green customized St. Andrews Episcopal Academy page. Now, your options along this sidebar are going to be different than mine because you're going to be in your Parents Web account, but you'll see things like gradebook or lunch orders or attendance or things like that. You'll also see calendar dates with important events that go for the whole school, and any important announcements that are made from the front office can be viewed here. Okay? So this is basically your headquarters for checking how you're doing in school. And that's that. So once you get on, and once your teachers start inputting assignments and grading things, you're going to want to be checking that consistently, just so you make sure you don't fall behind in classes. Okay, going on. Here is this lovely site called Moodle. Okay, for those students who are returning to our school from last year, Moodle is going to be the replacement for Canvas. Now, Canvas was what was known as a learning management system. It's basically a site where teachers keep all of their content that you can access from anywhere, as long as you have internet access. So this is replacing Canvas. It's called Moodle. So I'm going to walk you through how to do this from the very beginning. Okay, so let's say I'm just logging on to my internet browser. Close all these Office 365 windows. I'm going to type in the following address, and this is another address that you're going to want to bookmark along with your email, along with RunWeb. This address is SAA-FL Remember, that's the same district key from RenWeb. So saa-fl.moodle.renweb.com. It's a long address, so please remember to bookmark it. Okay? So let's go ahead and visit this site. And I've seen before, don't enter www in, because for some reason www does not take you to this site. So just enter in that website just as I explained it to you, and you're going to be just fine. Okay, so once you get into Moodle, this is what our Moodle page looks like. You'll notice it's got our nice customized logo and school color scheme up here. Now let's walk you through the login process. Now I'm already logged in, so let's bring up another browser and start you fresh as if you were visiting this for the first time. So once again, saa-fl.moodle.renweb.com. You can see my computer's already remembered it. So when I visit, we're going to see our Moodle site, and my camera icon is blocking my login link, so I'm going to minimize this and click login real fast. Now, if you can't see this, the login, it's kind of hard to spot, but it's up here in the upper right hand corner of the screen. You'll see this little blue lettering that says login. When you click that, that's going to take you to the login page. Now I'll go ahead and maximize this again. Okay, so it's going to bring you to your username and password. Just like before, your username is, in my case, zbarris@staacademy.org. You're going to be using that username pretty much for all three of these things. Email, RenWeb, and Moodle. And then your password should be the same password that you used to log in for your email or for RenWeb. Okay, I'm going to click remember my username just so I don't have to worry about it later. And I will log in. Okay, so log in. Okay, so when you first log in, once again you see our nice school logo, and you're going to see a whole bunch of text. This text down here, each of these is a link to a class. So you can see we offer a lot of classes here at St. Andrews. Now, from my perspective as a teacher, I can see all the classes even from the elementary school. As high school students, you probably won't see all those. But what you can do, on the left-hand side of the screen, there's going to be a menu that says My Courses. So if you see a whole bunch of courses that are not yours, you can always click on the My Courses tab to bring up just the classes that you are enrolled in. Okay, so I've done that, and I can see all the classes that I have control over. Okay, so for example, let's say I want to visit my online anatomy and physiology class. So when I click that, it's going to take me to the site that the teacher for this class has built for you to access. Now, a lot of what I'm about to tell you is up to discretion of your teachers. They're going to be running their Moodle pages perhaps differently than other teachers will. But that's okay. As long as you get a good feel for how your course runs, you're going to be just fine. And we're always willing to show you things and help you out with that. All right. So I just want to walk you through some general features in Moodle. Let's go back to my agenda. Okay. So I walked you through accessing the courses in Moodle. Let's talk about course materials. Now, in this particular class, which I have built, which may be different from other teachers' layouts, I've tried to embed a lot of course materials that you will need to do well on this course. For example, I've got here some course resources at the top of the page. So for this class, I've created a little lesson book on the circulatory system, the respiratory system, all these different body systems that you can access. I've made a medical dictionary page. Now, as your teachers would like you to access these resources, they will allow you to do so, and that should be no problem. I want to show you how to submit an assignment, however, because that's probably the most important thing that you need to know how to do well, so that you can get a grade for what you submit. Okay, so I'm going to, since I'm on the teacher login, I'm going to switch my role to a student. You won't have to worry about switching your role because you already are students. But let's say I switch that role. So now what I'm looking at is what you are going to see when you log into your course. You don't see any fancy editing options. You just see the course material as your teacher would like you to view it. Okay? So for example, here's my first unit that I've input into Moodle with all the materials you're going to access. If you look down here, you're going to see your teachers might have materials that are not yet available. That's just because they want you just to focus on the current unit. And once you finish that, your teachers will make these ones available. So don't worry, it's nothing wrong with your computer if you can't see something. It's just that your teacher is hiding that from your view until the appropriate time. So there are a lot of things that your teachers will be putting into Moodle. For example, here's like a getting to know you activity that I put into Moodle for my class. Here's a little announcement about science fair projects. Here's an actual assignment, like a science fair project. Okay, whenever you see this icon with the little paper and the hand underneath it, that is an assignment that your teacher wants you to complete. Okay, now talk to your teachers about the due dates for these assignments and how they would like to be done, but there will usually be a set of instructions that you will read in order to complete the assignment. Okay? So let's say that I want to submit an assignment. So let's say that I've already read the instructions, I've answered all my questions, I've done all my homework problems, and I just want to make sure my teacher gets those. Okay? So let's say I want to turn in this worksheet on anatomical orientation and terminology. I'm going to click that assignment. Now when you click the assignment, once again you'll see the title of the assignment up here at the top. You'll see the instructions for the assignment. Any links to files or pages will be here, and you can click those links and download the document. So let's say that, for example, that I want to download this lab report for anatomy, and so I'm going to download it and open it. And once again, you can always open this in your Word online. So let's say that I see this lovely worksheet and I complete it all, and then I want to submit it. Okay, at that point, I would go back to the assignment. You'll see this little blue button down here. It says Add Submission. Okay. Now, last year when we were using Canvas, this is equivalent to the Submit Assignment button. But if you add a submission, you're going to see you can submit files. Like if your teacher asks you to submit the PowerPoint or submit the Word document, here's where you're going to do that by just clicking this little Add File button right here. If you don't really want to type into your word processing online app, you can type text directly into the assignment itself. Like let's say you just need to answer a few questions, where you could say, okay, here is my assignment. I can't even type tonight. Assignment submission. And then you'd say, okay, here's my number 1, my number 2, my number 3. So once you complete the assignment or submit any necessary files that are due for this particular assignment, you're going to click Save Changes, and that's going to submit your assignment. Okay, so let's try that out. Okay, so now, once I click that, you'll see a submission status. Now here, something lighted up in green. It said submitted for grading. So once you see that green pop up and you see that submitted for grading text, you know that this assignment is in your teacher's inbox and will never be lost. See, that's the advantage of using Moodle. Teachers will never be able to lose any assignments that you turn into them, which is a great advantage for you students. Here's another alert that popped up. It said, oh, this assignment was submitted 37 days, 6 hours late. Okay, well that's a good thing to know. So if you ever submit something late, it's going to let you know, okay, this was late, so be prepared for any late deductions that are made to your grade. It will also display the date that the assignment was actually due, And if your teacher provides feedback on the assignment, you can view that from this page as well. But that is how you submit assignments. Now, if you ever submit something and you forgot to do something on that submission, you can always go back and edit your assignment submission by clicking the Edit Submission button. And here you can see it's brought me back to my assignment. So let's say I forgot to do question 4. I can go back and do that real fast and save the changes. Okay, yeah, so that is how you do an assignment and submit that. Let's go back to our course headquarters, and you can do that by using this menu up here. You can see the course name is right here, Master Anatomy and Physiology. That's going to take me back to the main course page that we visited earlier. And so you can see that's how you do assignments. Your teachers will also maybe put up tests. So here's my first little quiz in my class. If you click that, it's going to take you through a multiple choice quiz or a free response, however your teacher organizes their assessments. But basically the bare minimum, what I want you to learn from this video is that you're going to access course materials and assessments from this site. Okay. Alright, I wanted to show you one more thing. So we went over course materials, we went over assignments. I want to show you the calendar because a lot of you are probably used to carrying around a planner at school, and teachers may feel free to let you use your daily planners. But the cool thing is that in Moodle we have a built-in calendar. So if you click on your Home tab, you're going to see a calendar off here to the right. And you can click on specific days and see what's due that day in any of your classes. So for example, let's say I click on August 20th. Now that was yesterday, but let's say I wanted to do like a late assignment. Even just putting my mouse over that shows me what was due that day. Okay? So you can always know what you need to be turning in each of your classes just by going to your calendar. And I believe you can actually click the days as well. Let's just click the calendar. It'll bring up a larger version. Okay, so here's the calendar. Oh, this is very nice. It brings up a whole monthly view and it lists things for each day. Now, don't be intimidated. These long lists of assignments for one day, you're never going to get that many assignments in one day. That's just me. I just haven't input due dates for those assignments yet, but those will be coming shortly. But it's a really cool tool because you can pay attention to your calendar and you can always know what you need to have prepared for a certain day. So in theory, if you're on top of things, you can use this calendar to never have any submissions turned in late, which is very important for your success at the school. Okay, that's the calendar function. There's other things that you can do when you log into your account. You have a profile, and if you view your profile, you can edit information. So here's my profile. I've got a little message to you with some contact information for me, just general information like that. Also important to know is that if you go to your home page, if there's ever any important announcements or news for the site, it'll show up here at the very top. So you can see a couple announcements already up there for teachers. I think that might be all I wanted to show you today. Here's another view of just the site news. You can view site news just as a little page. So let's go back and look at that. So here's a site news view. If you click on site news button, and you can see little threads where people might put messages down. And oh, and by the way, you can send messages to your teacher within Moodle, but I'm going to recommend that you just stick to email because it's kind of confusing when teachers get messages in both places, and sometimes they might not always get back to you in time. So please, whenever you need to contact your teacher, use their email address. Okay. The last thing I wanted to talk about today is curriculum materials. So, I said before that anything you could ever really need for your class will be in Moodle. But let's say your teacher wants you to access your textbook. Now, unfortunately, we can't put a whole textbook into Moodle. And so if your teacher ever wants you to read a specific page in your textbook, you can always access the specific curriculum materials that your teacher has provided for you. And I'm sure that the teachers will talk about those in their individual classes. Let me give you an example. Let's say I want to view the online biology textbook. So there's going to be a site that your teacher's going to give you to access your biology textbook, and I'm not going to go over those sites right now because there's a lot of different ones. But when I log on to some other curriculum materials that are not inside Moodle, we have access to those as well. So here's like my chemistry book that I'm logging into, and here's my textbook. But you'll receive all this training from your individual teachers, which is specific for your individual classes. Okay, so that's how you access external materials. It's up to the discretion of your teachers to get those websites out to you and those accounts, login and passwords. And that concludes what I wanted to talk about today. Now, let me just add one more thing in, and then we'll just do a brief recap of everything. Technology issues. Okay, so technology, one of the flaws of technology is that it's very temperamental these days. Sometimes you can have just a really smooth day on your computers. Someday things will not go as planned. Okay, if you ever have a technology issue or something's not working, you can always get in touch with one of the teachers, and we can let our IT person know, and we can schedule to have that issue resolved or fixed. Because you are bringing your own devices, however, we might not be able to help if you break your laptop. If you break your laptop and you brought it from home, there's only so much we can do to help you out with that. But if you ever forget your password or can't log in, you need to let us know immediately through email so that we can help fix that, because we don't want you to fall behind in your classes. So keep that in mind, and be your own judge of whether something needs to be fixed with the school, or if it's something that needs to be fixed at home. But yeah, that's technology issues. Please bring those to our attention as soon as possible so that we don't dock you any points for late submissions of assignments. Okay, so just a quick recap of what we talked about this morning. First, we talked about device recommendations, which we recommend the Chromebook or any laptop will work. Please bring headphones every day to class. I showed you how to access your email on Office 365, and that email access also came with access to word processing, Excel sheets, PowerPoint, to-do lists, your cloud storage. Then we talked about RenWeb login, which is where you're going to go to see your grades, order lunch, check your attendance. And then we talked about Moodle, probably the most important resource you're going to be using. We talked about looking at your courses, accessing course materials within the sites. We talked about how to submit assignments, look at your calendar to check due dates. And the last things we talked about were the curriculum materials, which might be outside of Moodle, but your teacher will help you with that. And we talked about technology issues that you may experience. I will be posting this video on YouTube. You will get a link to it so that you can access and reference it at your leisure. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this was helpful. We will see you next time. Thank you so much, and have a good morning.